Welcome to Radio Boomers Live, the show about all things human from a baby boomer's perspective. All things hot and all things not. News, reviews, interviews, chat, text, and what's next. And here are your hosts, Reatha Gray from Betty White's Off Their Rockers and Easy's dad, Jim Zuley.
Good morning, everyone out there in Radio Boomers Live land. And I'll tell you what, it's Reatha. It's time
good
for
morning,
Reatha
good morning, good morning.
She's up and at 'em.
Good morning.
Good morning, Reatha.
It's radio. Good morning. It's Radio Boomers Live broadcast on EZWAY Radio, powered by Blog Talk Radio. And it's a beautiful Monday morning here in California.
And I don't have to ask if Reatha's up because she's out at the crack of dawn doing her 5-mile run. She's amazing. Oh, or did I? Wait, maybe I missed that.
Yeah, no, you imagine that. You imagine that. I'm a night person. I'm up all night, and it's all I can do to get up and be alive at 10 o'clock in the morning. But I am live on Radio Boomers Live this morning.
You're live, and I'll tell you what, it's a different world out there, Reith. It's kind of like the old movies we'd seen, where the streets are empty, and it's kind of a wake-up call, I guess you could say, for everyone to kind of be prepared in case anything happens. But I've talked to people, and nobody's really ever experienced this before. I mean, we had the big snowstorm in Chicago in the 60s where it just shut everything down, but the snow melts, but we do notice the stores can empty out,
Well, this has never happened before. It's never, ever in the history of the world happened like this before. The good news is sometimes you can take that time and take a pause while you're home, and you can listen to us on iHeartRadio. You can listen to us on Apple TV. People are telling me, what can I do with all my time? You can listen to Radio Boomers Live, all of our archive shows. You can listen to us on Amazon Fire. Just search EZWAY, and letter E, letter Z, way, and you'll find us.
You got it. You can go to EZWAY, letter E, letter Z, EZWayinfo.com. And, we're covering the bases, and it's kind of switched to a digital world. So here we are, and with that, Reith, I guess it's time for a hot topic.
Hot topic time.
Ripped from the headlines, today's hot topic.
Well, I've already given you some suggestions of what you can do while you're at home during this time, because it is kind of weird being sheltered in place, or safer at home as they're calling it here in California. But there's all kinds of things to do. Remember that drawer that you've been trying to clean out, Jim, for 20 years now? Clean out that drawer. You can clean out that closet. You can clean out that garage. There's all kinds of things you can do that you've been putting off. Remember that book that you said you were going to write as soon as you graduated from college? Well, 40 years later, now is the time to get started on writing that book. That television, that screenplay, that movie, whatever you said you were going to write. Now's the time. Your memoirs, poetry. This is a time where you can, instead of sitting watching wall-to-wall news, which is very depressing, and a lot of the shows are even talking about what to do when you're depressed because you're watching so much news, but they tell you to keep watching the news. No, there's lots of things that you can do, but it's very important that we do stay inside of our houses, not go out any more than necessary, and that we do, when we do go out, that we do that 6-foot separation thing, because people are getting sick, and you don't want to be one of them. And clearly, by the athletes and the politicians and the movie stars, all the people that we've seen on TV that have gotten the virus, surely we have to figure out no one is exempt, young, old, doesn't matter what country you're in, you can get this virus. So my hot topic is just follow the orders, and I'm a real wild child, so I want to be out there. But only go out when you have to. Go to the store, make your necessary doctor's appointments, but don't just run to the urgent care because you think you have the virus. Call, make phone calls. They have all these hotlines that you can call to find out where you can go and what you can do. So that's my hot topic this morning. Jim, what's your hot topic?
Well, wait till our guest comes on. You guys hold on to your hats because he's got the inside information on all this. So anyway, New York Governor Cuomo orders lockdown, basically shuts down non-essential businesses. We're going to close the valves, he says. Sends New York eateries into a survival mode and just takeouts. Cases in New York top 10,000 as FEMA declares major disaster. Approximately 1 in 4 Americans told to stay home. So yes, it's a new world here we're entering into. California governor issues a statewide stay-home order. Essential trips allowed. Shopping for food, hardware store. Office supply places, guys, they're open in case you need to, because they figure a lot of people are at home doing business, so they're staying open. Helping a senior family member or with supplies, walking dog. But remember, when you go out and you want to watch touching the handles and opening the doors and keep that disinfectant with you for your hands. America's generally shut down now. How long will the CV shutdown last? President Trump mentioned July or August. I don't believe the shutdown will last that long. Experts say the outbreak will end in approximately 2 months. It's basically very disruptive, very costly for the country, but they say it's the only way to prevent the spread of the disease. Keep it down. And, when everything stays locked down, the virus dies after a period of hours, days. You do research on that, but public health officials say the coronavirus vaccine will not be ready for widespread public use for at least 12 to 18 months. Italy, France, and Spain are all closed down. The Senate pushes a $1 trillion coronavirus deal, which has been stalled. Getting the House and the Senate together, that's tricky, As for students doing their online work, it's not working. They can work on the computers and do their studies, but it doesn't count as far as schoolwork goes. U.S. tax filing deadline moved to July 15th. We all heard that Kenny Rogers passed away at 81, 60 years as a singer. AD officially signs with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. NBC News staffer passed away from the coronavirus. He was 61. He had other issues. Tom Hanks and his wife came down with the virus. President Trump is calling it the China virus. Louisiana, Ohio, Delaware are the latest to issue lockdowns. Democratic frontrunner Joe Biden has talked with former President Barack Obama about possibly running with him as a vice presidential pick. That would be kind of strange. Huh? Trump predicts victory over the coronavirus much sooner than expected. This lockdown is basically a wake-up call for everyone to keep their immune system strengthened, and our guest is going to fill us in on that, and be prepared at home so you don't have to be running out to the store and everything. All right, so kind of covered some of the bases there. Sorry it had to be on what's going on, but that's basically what's going on. When I research everything and sports and so on and so forth, some of the basketball players that come down with it, then it's quarantine time. So that's basically all the news is related to coronavirus. So there you go, Reatha, and it's time for us to move into a commercial.
Looking to grow and align your brand with celebrities and other established brands? Your brand is all about your entire customer experience. Everything from your logo, your website, your social media experiences, the way you answer the phone, to the way your customers experience your staff. So why not let us help you get your branding right from the start? At EZWAY Promotions, we are a new class of professionals providing first-class online branding, promotion, social media, website development, editing, graphic design, public relations, media, SEO, and online advertising to give your business the competitive edge to stand out. Our highly experienced experts will not only help you increase your online presence, but also provide you with a proven online strategy to help you increase the value of your company and make acquiring new customers easier. So what are you waiting for? Contact us today and let us help you grow your business exponentially.
For more information, contact 424-209-9290 or visit EZWayPromotions.com. That's letter E, letter Z. We also encourage you to like our Facebook page at EZWay Promotions.
Yes, indeed. Our guest today is the kind of individual that gets deep inside what's going on. His name is Alan Attridge, and he's with Quantum Health Discoveries Research Institute, and we're talking about the molecules and the in-depth study and brainstorming. He does the refining and improving and brainstorming and products, so the industry approves certain situations they're working with. He's into physics, chemistry, and he's a tech professor. And Alan can shed some light on what's going on here today, because a lot of it's about immune systems and so on and so forth. So we're going to bring him on because his bio is just very impressive and very long. But Alan, you on with us? Alan Attridge.
I am here.
There he is. Hello,
hi,
Alan.
Jim.
Welcome to Radio Boomers Live. And you're on with Reatha Gray. Reatha, Alan Attridge. I don't know if you've met Alan yet.
I have not. Welcome, Alan.
Great to be invited, and great to hopefully to discuss and share some things that can benefit the audience.
So, Alan, we appreciate you coming on. So you have to be a busy guy. And what's going on is kind of in your world with the viral and what it's doing to everyone. And we all can admit one thing is none of us have never experienced this kind of a transformation. I mean, I remember in the 60s when it snowed and everything was shut down by nature or some disaster like that, and we rebuild and that's it. But this, worldwide, and you're kind of on the cutting edge inside of all this. And we were talking last night, and you basically had expressed the importance of the immune system.
Yes, and that is really the key, having a balanced immune system, having homeostasis, having, then all your other chemistry, including your nervous system, works more efficiently. And we know a lot about the immune system, but we don't know 100%, okay? That's why researchers continue doing the research. But recently, in discussion, and also several other discussions in the news, we're talking about inflammation. Maybe the driving force that's helping the virus do its thing to harm those. And what is inflammation? Well, inflammation is when your body, let's say you cut yourself, your T cells, your immune system is going there to attack any microbes or pathogens that have entered the skin, and getting into your bloodstream. The second thing is then you have your stem cells are going there to repair.
Okay, Alan.
And so, yes.
Alan, you're coming in a little chopped up. Can we try possibly calling back in? Maybe we get you a little bit more clear. Sometimes the line is not quite connected that well. It's a little bit choppy. And we don't want to miss anything you're saying, because everything you're saying, everybody's ear is pinned to the phone, because this is amazing stuff you're saying.
Okay, let me do this then. I'm going to call from, hang up and call right back in, okay?
Okay, we'll do that. Yeah.
Okay.
So, Reatha, we've interviewed so many people, but it's so interesting when somebody's on the inside and sharing what this is all about, because there's so many questions out there. And he was sharing the fact that the virus, well, I'll let him tell you. I might get it wrong, but it was basically inflammation that carries the virus. And if you could stop the inflammation in a natural way, that's a big help. So,
inflammation has its good side and its bad side.
Yeah.
The good part is when you cut yourself and then it attacks the bad things coming in, but the inflammation sometimes stays longer than it's necessary and starts attacking the body itself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I'm not a doctor, so I really don't know a whole lot about these things.
Yeah. So, you on with us, Alan?
Yes,
okay,
and Reatha, you're 100% correct. You don't want to have you want to control that inflammation because sometimes microbes, viruses, bacteria can take advantage of that inflammation, or let's say a cancer cell can take advantage of that inflammation for the purposes of using that. So it causes the growth of more, and so what you want to do is inflammation is good, but inflammation is bad, and what that means is inflammatory response.
We're chopping up again, Alan. We're chopping up.
How
okay.
Right now?
Are you calling from a landline?
No, I'm not. With reference to the what can you do to reduce inflammation? Well,
Alan, we can't hear you at all.
We can't hear you, Alan. It's really like we're missing every other word, and this is really good stuff.
Let me go down. Let me go outside. I'm just going to step outside.
Call from a landline. If you have a landline, that might be more clear.
Okay.
All right. So read. What is that? You on with us? So, Reatha, this is what I was saying. It's the being in the know is so important. When you go out and what to do, and like you were mentioning with the inflammation, and people want to know how long this is going to last, how they can catch it, and we pretty much covered that with stay away from people and keep a certain distance with the. You don't want to have someone.
Jim, you're chopping up too. I don't know if all of us are. I don't know. Maybe the landline has a coronavirus. I don't know.
Huh? I'm chopping up too? What the heck?
Yeah.
Well, maybe they're putting in a tower somewhere. But anyway, we want to let everybody know that. Okay, we want to let everybody know that the primary objective is, if you can, and we're not trying to go into panic mode here, but it's precautions, basic precautions, right, Reatha? Stay home if you stay home until they, you know what I mean, until they give us the all clear. If you do go out, remember, you don't want to just grab a gas pump and fill your car. Let's be a little careful here. Wrap something around it, because there's a lot. Go out. Remember, you don't want to just grab a gas pump and fill your car. There's a lot of germs on that pump. When you open a door, like a lot of them are automatic doors now. But if you do open a door, there's a higher chance that you might have germs on your hand, and that's why they're telling you we have a habit sometimes of rubbing our eyes or something. We don't want to do that, and it just increases your odds of possibly catching something.
Well, that's why we should carry gloves. I carry gloves with me I carry a mask with me, and I'm not a germaphobe particularly, but this thing really is serious, and you have to protect yourself and your loved ones because you can carry this stuff home with you.
Exactly, yeah. And, there's little things like, guys, oh, boy, I'm out of toilet paper. Well, here's a little tip. When you go to the store, talk to the manager or somebody there, and you don't have to go in with the crowds and if there's something there waiting a long line. You go there and find out when their delivery is going to be. And don't go to the main store. Go to a little off store. Like, for instance, if you want the paper, you can go to a little off drugstore that's, doesn't have the large traffic flow, and find out when their delivery is and go there on that morning, say Tuesday morning. And they've told me there's plenty. And there you go. You're all loaded up and you're good to go.
Is Alan back with us?
I'm
Alan,
back. Can you hear me?
Okay. That's a lot more clear.
Much
Alan.
better.
Much better? Okay.
Alan, we were just going over a little bit how we don't want to set a big alarm out there and panic, but we do want to be a little cautious and, maybe a lot cautious. And sometimes it's better erring on the side of caution by staying home. And if you do go out, maybe not touching so many things or having a glove or make sure you don't touch your face and so on. Why is this so different than everything else we've dealt with? Because the flu has caused, well, not financial damage like this, but why didn't we react to the flu like this? Why is this such a game changer?
Well, it's contagious much more easily, we see. And secondly is a certain, those with illness or elderly have I would say a less or a low or imbalanced immune system because they're either fighting a current disease or because of improper nutrition or whatever. So the thing you want to do to strengthen the immune system is make sure you're eating a balanced diet, but to stay away from foods that may slow down your immune system. And one of the big ones is cane sugar. Sugar's in everything, and that doesn't help your immune system. And
that's for sure.
The other things are certain additives, preservatives, and you might even hear about wheat and gluten. Well, there's proteins in wheat that are harmful to the immune system, regardless of gluten. So these things you want to try to avoid, but then, make sure that the food is, clean, which means, no pesticides. So, okay, it should be organic. And the water that you drink. These all are important. Doing a little exercise or just taking a walk. This helps produce hormones that help your immune system. Or proliferate other hormones which act as communication molecules. So your cells are talking a little better between each other.
They found children aren't really being affected that much, although some do catch it. But I saw a little report where it's just not affecting kids that much, but the younger people can take it home to the grandparents and so on, and like you say, the immune system's weaker, and then they wind up catching something. So basically with this CV-19, it's a bigger spreader than some of the other ones. It's a more rapid spreader, I guess.
What it does and how it is successful is with reference to an inflammatory response in the lungs. That's where when I talked earlier is you really want to do things to make sure you have a strong immune system.
And quantum health discoveries
research. What can
research.
we do? What's the number one thing we can do to strengthen our immune system? Eat well, exercise. Is there anything in particular we could eat that strengthens it?
Well, it's involved looking at certain fruits fruits and vegetables or herbs that are more beneficial to the immune system. And one of those is several strains of mushrooms, for example, that seems to strengthen the immune system very rapidly. Many universities around the globe are doing research on various fungi. And why? Is because of beneficial chemistry that is supportive of the immune system, as well as providing other beneficial chemistry for certain regulatory and chemistry within the body. And what we have found, several strains that when consumed, that you can see a rapid increase in balance of the immune system in days.
Wow.
So our research entailed of taking this and putting formulas together made up of these ingredients. So it can be used as a adjunctive or support to a patient who has an immune system that has been challenged either with disease or severe illness. I'll get into the story of how this all happened. Is we were introduced over 14 years ago now that several universities had strains that when they fed mice and rats to of these strains of fungi, that their tumors would go away. It initially took something in the forest that was growing in the forest on plants or soil or dead wood or plants, and they would go ahead and then bring it into a laboratory and then give different substrates or food for the fungi. And what they did over about a 40-year period is they cultivated different strains that had more unique, if you want to call it, or proprietary chemistry versus what was in the wild. And when they fed it to transgenic mice and rats with tumors, the tumors went away. So how we got involved is they asked us and others to participate in determining the mechanism and pathway of what was causing that to happen. What molecules in the fungi chemistry was causing the body ability to eliminate tumors. And what we have found is these strains, with all the collaborators, actually, these are other universities that actually developed a strain themselves in the same way in Europe and in Asia. Each university basically took something in the wild, they brought it into a laboratory, but they gave it different substrates. One university has over 2,000 strains now. And they found out this strain is better for this, or this strain is better for this. And the reason is they're originally looking at beta-glucans. For all the scientists and medical doctors listening to this, is you all know what the importance of beta-glucans and what it does with reference to the receptors and with reference on the cell surface of with reference to pathogens in foreign bodies and your immune system. So they were looking at different structures, and different structure of a specific molecule can make a difference in how it performs, if you want to call it, or how it acts chemically with reference to other chemistry. And so other than that, other teams then also found other beneficial chemistry, such as acids, enzymes, proteins, other beneficial chemistry. And what we have found is there's natural antibiotics. There's acid molecules that cause the apoptosis of gram-negative bacteria. It increases the energy molecule rapidly, ATP, which is also a communication molecule. And that, so your red blood cells can hold more oxygen, so you have more endurance, more strength. You recover quickly if you have to do strenuous exercise. These are all the things we've learned. But most importantly, it seems to balance, it does balance the immune system quickly. So anyone with a debilitating disease or illness, they have the ability to fight. And so that's how we got involved in this whole matter of, and how we, the different teams around the globe are looking at, this virus and many other viruses. It's not that the chemistry of these actually kills the virus. It's more of strengthening the immune system, so the immune system has the ability to fight the virus.
Okay. And you have the Immune Health Mushroom Blend, mushroom, which I take. And so the viewers, the listeners, okay, they're home. What would it be that they could take, if they don't have all the inside information on certain stuff? Is it good just to keep a regimen of, if they can't go out and find certain things for now, oranges and apples and organic vegetables and so on would be probably the best things to shoot for before they really get into researching and keeping the immune system up? You would say a good
the other thing is probiotics. The microbiome is that is connected to your gut. The gut, but it's connected to your immune system in an enormous way. So probiotics, and what are probiotics? Well, you can go to a health food store and you can buy a bottle of probiotic, but you can have sauerkraut, you can have kefir, you can have yogurt, but make sure the yogurt has no sugar in it. Kombucha, or pickled things, fermented foods provide a lot of beneficial chemistry for your microbiome. And if someone takes a lot of antibiotics, they're killing a lot of the good bacteria. So you want to have more good bacteria versus bad bacteria. So that's the other part of it. We found in this mushroom chemistry that there's about 20 probiotics in addition to it. Well, we and our collaborators now determine that this is really the most beneficial food because it has a lot of nutrients, has all the essential amino acids, has all the transition metals, all the necessary chemistry. So it's really a superior food. And we've done some mini trials where people just consume this with water and minerals for 30 to 60 days with no food, and they're able to have energy and don't have any appetite. And that dosage is about 32 grams a day, which is about 12 or 13 level teaspoons. So our proposal for the World Health Organization is to mass produce this to eliminate famine in the world.
Yeah. Wow.
So how would people be able to find out about these mushrooms?
Well, they can go to one of our websites. The best one is called mycalldiscovery.com, which encapsulates or covers everything from background to science and all related science. So you could go to that website and get some more information, and that will also link you to all the other websites.
And what's that website again?
My Call Discovery. That's MYCOL Discovery.com.
And then you got the phone number 267-355-3925 would be another way they can contact you, right, Alan?
That's correct. You'll see we have a whole section on cell communication. We have a section about diet, with our opinions and I recommend read and observe and learn, and then make your own decisions when we talk about diet and food and all the other things that we've listed there.
And your Quantum Health Discoveries Research Institute, correct?
Right, and that website for there is called quanthealth.org, but that is linked to My Call Discoveries, and that's where we articulate the science, and we're building a bioinformatic database, hopefully to provide a roadmap for physicians and also for patients. So they have a little bit more direction in the diagnosis and also for treatment of what to do.
And if you were to, it's hard getting to the hospitals now. They basically, I don't know if a lot of them have room anymore. So if you did come down with something, it's upper respiratory. Somebody mentioned in the field that they said drink a lot of water, and the water can wash the virus from their upper respiratory down to the stomach, which the acid kills the virus when it gets to the stomach. I don't know how on point I am with that, but what would you suggest if they're home and they, you're basically going to a hospital, there's no room. What should they do to take care of themselves at home?
You want to keep hydrated. Well, and you also want to keep hydrated. And I mean, if there's acid, let's say you get food poisoning, what are the best things to do? A little baking soda and water. There's a lot of foods, herbs, and teas that are beneficial. You look at if you have the symptoms, you have fever, you feel like you got a strep throat and all these other things, and you listen to, if you have the symptoms, then you want to go get checked, okay? More specifically, those who are ill already or have a disease now, you want to be more aggressive in getting diagnosed.
Well, just before we go, Alan, I just want to ask one quick question. They're talking about this drug, this existing drug that's already been used for several other things as a possible cure, but my concern is always the side effects. And I understand, I can't pronounce the drug, the quin, whatever it is. I understand has a side effect of possibly causing paranoid schizophrenia. I haven't heard anyone mention that.
Okay,
Do you know
question.
Anything about that?
Reatha, you already
that's a good
have
question.
That, don't you?
All the drugs are biologics. There's over a dozen different drugs that supports or strengthens, they say, the immune system, but more importantly is other drugs that have been tested for different ailments or disease. And many of the drugs, they are developed, when they develop them, they use chemistry that is toxic to our body. So there's a benefit to it, and then there's a downside to it. And the downside is it can cause problems. But if you have a strong immune system, your body can overcome that toxicity. I'll use an example with our fungi formula. If you take a drug with it, you have no side effects of the drug. So if let's say you took chemo. Well, chemo, you have pain and you lose your hair. Well, if you use our mushrooms at the same time, you don't lose your hair and you have no pain.
Oh, I wish I knew that.
The reason is because your immune system is very strong now. Okay, so you want to have a very, very strong immune system. So if you have to take a drug, it's less chance of it hurting you. Okay. And the discussion of that drug matter was with reference to the inflammation. If you listen to the discussions in the news in the last 2 days,
Ask him this question.
There's many teams doing research as we speak. Okay, there's many. You'd be surprised in all the universities I've worked at or I've traveled to, and when there ever is an outbreak and something's quarantined, I can say every single time in my history there's always been a success in coming up with a cure or a treatment, 100% of the time. But sometimes it can take 5 months, sometimes it can take 1 month, sometimes it can take 1 week. And so big pharma and universities and all the rest they set up in their research so if something happens, they can quarantine quickly. There's a lot of brilliant scientists here in this world, and I feel very positive that we're going to overcome this matter.
So basically,
because
by increasing the immune system, via the mushroom situation that you have, immune health mushrooms, that would decrease the chance of catching this kind of bug that's out there, right?
Well, I'm not necessarily catching it, but the ability of the body to fight it before it gets in the position that's causing what it does. With reference to in the lungs, for example. Now, the thing is, with reference to fungi, not all fungi is created equal. You really have to grow fungi in a clean room space, such as a laboratory, so there's no contamination from other bacteria, viruses in the air, because one thing about fungi in the wild as well as in a laboratory is whatever toxicity there is in the water, toxicity in the air, they'll hold on to it. And they will digest it and break it down, but if it's not harvested at the right time, it still could be there. So even if you go to the supermarket and you buy button mushrooms, you should probably cook it. You shouldn't eat it raw because there's yeast. Usually many different yeasts will fall on the fruit body of a mushroom, a food service mushroom, and that could cause candida, for example. You really should have something that's clean, but the underlying chemistry in fungi is very beneficial.
This is amazing. We could have you on for the next 2 days. This stuff is so interesting. I'm taking little notes as we go. But remember, guys, we got a...
Well, let's go back
archive.
That whole thing. Let's just talk about the immune system. When the immune system is balanced, it's amazing how the body can heal itself. It's amazing that even if you're schizophrenic or you're bipolar or if you have dementia or if you have Alzheimer's, you can reverse those diseases if you have a strong immune system. Okay, all those neurological diseases, Huntington's, Lou Gehrig's disease, all these diseases if you have a strong immune system. And so that's why the immune system is so key. I have personally witnessed people that lost their memory, and 1 month later their memory's back because now they had a strong immune system.
So, Alan, this is so interesting. Now, aren't you talking about starting a podcast with EZWAY Broadcasting so we could just, absorb more of all this amazing information?
Yeah, the thing is yes, sir, yes, we've been talking about that because when there's a new discovery made, it can take 10, 20, 30 years before it becomes a standard of care. Not every physician has the time to read published papers that come out every day, and so they can't keep up with all of it. And it's providing the education, sharing with the public and sharing with the physicians, and from physician to physician, from patient to patient, to share all this. There's a lot of wonderful things on the planet, but they're not being used, and they should be used. There's a lot of wonderful tools for diagnostics. There's a lot of treatments. There's a lot of foods. There's a lot of herbs. There's a lot of things that are wonderful. And it's now taking that information and getting into use to save that life, to make a difference.
Well, we get you a podcast, and you'll be rocking and rolling. Share this information, and I'll tell you what, this is where it's at. And it's prevention is kind of the best medicine, I think. And
let me just give you this to finish this. I should finish this with which I didn't bring up how this all came about. How this all came about is when I was first introduced to fungi, and they asked myself and others to collaborate, research. 2 years later, a man had a friend of mine, a colleague, had his best friend called and at a meeting says, my best friend has glioblastoma and stage 4 lung cancer. Only give him a month to live, and they tried everything and nothing would work. So at that meeting, I just stopped and I said, wait, I'm working with teams, and there's a lot of research going on of wonderful fungi that are in laboratories that when they fed it to transgenic mice and rats, the tumors would go away. So what we did is we put together a formula, and we shipped it to the man. We said, based on your pathology, take 32 grams a day. And he did that, and 27 days later, all his tumors were gone in his brain and his lungs. Wow. And that was that was when we started the Quantum Health Discoveries Research Institute to then do the further research as to the find out the why, what, and how. but then eventually we went into the business of growing so it'd be available for the public 2 years later.
This is amazing. Alan, we are out of time, but this is a gold mine of information, and we hope that you can, continue this, or we just have you on the show about 50 more times, because this is so interesting, and this is what it's all about.
Jim, can we get the website one more time before we sign off?
Okay.
The website is the best website, so you can see the science, you can see about products and questions and answers and videos and lectures, is at MyCall, that's MYCOL Discovery, DISCOVERY.com.
Discovery.com. Well, thank you, Alan.
MyCallDiscovery.com.
It's been a gold mine of information, and we are, looking forward to you with a podcast and joining up with, you've been with our EZWAY group, and this is just, with what's going on, this is so needed. But thank you again for coming on, because I know you're so busy and everybody wants to hear all this information from you. But with that, guys, we want to thank Alan for all this information, but it is time. The clock rolls on, and we got to move into commercial and then Carmelita's Corner.
Okay.
Looking to grow and align your brand with celebrities and other established brands? Your brand is all about your entire customer experience. Everything from your logo, your website, your social media experiences, the way you answer the phone, to the way your customers experience your staff. So why not let us help you get your branding right from the start? At EZWAY Promotions, we are a new class of professionals providing first-class online branding, promotion, social media, website development, editing, graphic design, public relations, media, SEO, and online advertising to give your business the competitive edge to stand out. Our highly experienced experts will not only help you increase your online presence, but also provide you with a proven online strategy to help you increase the value of your company and make acquiring new customers easier. So what are you waiting for? Contact us today and let us help you grow your business exponentially.
For more information, contact 424-209-9290 or visit EZWayPromotions.com. That's letter E, letter Z. We also encourage you to like our Facebook page at EZWAY Promotions.
You are about to experience Carmelita's Corner. Carmelita's song Rosebud made it to the top 40s with the godfather of soul, James Brown. She's the founder of the Rose Breast Cancer Society. Now here's your host, Carmelita Pittman.
Good morning, everyone. And it is a good morning, isn't it? We woke up another day. How about that? I have a wonderful guest coming your way. His name is Chris Howard, and he's an extremely successful social entrepreneur, transformational speaker, author, coach, and lifestyle wealth strategist. His career has spanned 2 decades. His mission is to put transformational tools in everyone's hands on the planet to create a worldwide wealth through education. His seminars and products have generated over $100 million in global sales, and personally, he has generated repeatedly $1 million sales a day. So how about that? He's spoken in over 28 countries, and he's touched thousands and millions of lives. His philanthropic efforts include bringing coaches into his work, and he has the first free universally held event in South Africa, building a high school in Peru, and many other wonderful things that he does through Friends International. One of his great sayings is, the secret to creating wealth on every level has nothing to do with what you get, but rather what you give. Welcome, Chris Howard.
Hello, Carmelita. How are you, lovely?
I'm blessed and highly favored, and I know you are. I'm telling you that this is really, really a wonderful thing to have you today on my little show. We only have a short time here, but we'll make the most of it. And first of all, welcome back. I know you just had a big trip over in Australia. And I'd like to lead up to the reason why you were there. But first of all, can we tell our listening audience what it is that you do exactly? I just mentioned that you're a transformational coach, but how you got started. I remember the story that you told when I went to one of your sessions over there in the beach area, that you started out in a garage in a very humble beginnings. How did you get from a garage to becoming a media mogul?
Well, I was, boy, if I rewind the clock, must have been like 1996, and I was living in El Porto, California, in a little converted garage. I had a number of things that weren't working for me in my life, primarily financially, relationships. None of that was working, and so I dove into the books out of desperation. Found some classics like Think and Grow Rich and How to Win Friends and Influence People. And I made probably the most substantial thing that I did was I made a decision that I was going to become a transformational speaker and help people make their lives better, and that I was going to stay committed to that path no matter what, because there were so many things in life that I had started and stopped. I worked in the hotel resort industry, moved my way up through the management, and then I stopped. And I had done martial arts, I had gotten my black belt, and then I stopped. And so there were so many things that I just didn't continue with. And one of the big principles that Napoleon Hill talked about, as far back as Think and Grow Rich, was the idea of single-mindedness of purpose or definiteness of purpose. He said if you just get one thing and you do that for 10 or 20 years, eventually the floodgates are going to fly wide open and you'll be rewarded tremendously. And so I made a decision that I was going to become a speaker. That's what I was going to do. I saw somebody that inspired me. I said, I want to do that. And that was probably the most impactful decision that I ever made, because there were a lot of opportunities to stop along the way. There were a lot of challenges that came up along the way. Many people are experiencing challenges right now that might cause them to sway from their true north or where they'd really like to go. And in making that decision, there were many of those challenges that I barreled through, and I stayed committed to that path. And eventually, great things started to happen, and it became very rewarding, emotionally, psychologically, financially, on every front. And I think that's especially relevant for these times right now, because either people may be swayed to move from a path that they're committed to, or this could be a transition period for people where they have the opportunity to commit to their true north once again. So whenever things get shaken up, maybe they're getting shaken up for a reason. Maybe there's something, a grander purpose that's coming out of this, and it's a time for us to rethink what we're headed towards. So this could be a great time of opportunity for people.
Exactly right. And, I was just talking to the Pink Lady, who's in her 80s, and now she has a great television show. It's called The Pink Lady Presents. It comes on every Sunday at 5 o'clock, Channel 18, and she's in her 80s. And to her, age is nothing but a number. And she was saying that this time that she's going to revisit the book that she's written. She's going to add an epilogue to it and, do things that normally she wouldn't have time to do. And that's basically what I'm going to be doing, too, catching up on old projects and completing them. That's the main thing I need to do is completion.
I hear you. Yeah, it's a special time right now, because we do have that opportunity where either we have more time or we have the opportunity to commit to a path that's larger than us. I have a friend of mine, a guy by the name of Kevin Ondegaro, and he's married to Maria Menounos, the television host. And Kevin said, in a time where you feel like you're in isolation, what a great time to go into a kind of an incubation period where when you emerge so much more powerful than you were when you came in. And he reminded me of the movie The Count of Monte Cristo. And he said, in that movie, the character Edmond Dantes was thrown into prison wrongfully, for I think it was 13 years. But he used that time to become so much more powerful than he was when he went in. And so when he emerged, before he went into prison in that book, if you read it, he couldn't read, he couldn't write, and he came out and he could read, he could write. He was extremely intelligent. He became the Count of Monte Cristo, where he was able to. In the movie, he was able to exact revenge on his enemies. That's not what we want to do when we come out. But the point is that he used that time wisely. And I think how we use our time is going to be mission critical in terms of this critical incubation period that we're in right now. And so maybe it's recommitting to a dream. Maybe it's committing to something larger that you gave up on before. Maybe it's integrating into your life those things that make your whole life sing. I saw a post the other day where somebody said, weave something into your day every day that makes your heart sing. Well, maybe you want to make your whole day what makes your life sing, and recommit to a larger path, or at least come out so you're in such a more powerful position. I believe that life belongs to those who are best prepared when their opportunities arise, and we're surely going to have lots of opportunities that arise after this period. So our goal is to become as prepared as possible so that we can take advantage of those opportunities when they do come.
Yes, and you're one of the best people to help people do that. I noticed that one of your associates is Dr. Reverend Michael Beckwith. He is a spiritual guru. He gives you a great endorsement and has a wonderful agape church here in Los Angeles and actually Beverly Hills. I think it's amazing, how small the world is. You mentioned Maria Menudo. I had a chance to meet her because she's friends with the president of the Southern California Motion Picture Council, and at one of the events we all took photographs together. And Dr. Reverend Michael Beckwith, I've had the opportunity to make a presentation to him on stage of an award from Artists for a Better World. And these things come up unexpectedly, but I think it's all part of a greater plan.
100%. Yeah, and the question is, how do we utilize it? How do we, do we reap the full benefits here? And it's been said that we shouldn't evaluate our life by the harvest that's sown, but rather by the seeds that the harvest is reaped, but rather by the seeds that we sow. And if we evaluate every day on the seeds that we sow, that harvest will surely come once again. So right now I think that this is a time to be sowing a lot of seeds for the future and to be recommitting to our true north. Maybe once again in this time of transition, people are finding themselves, there may have been people that had a job and now they're going, wait a second, maybe I need to create my side hustle fast, and maybe I need to start thinking about living the life that I was born to live, realigning with my true north and doing something that really brings joy to my life, and you have an opportunity to do it now. There's this window to do it. So I think the choices that we make and how we use this time are what's going to be most critical in terms of what we create in the future. I think it's in times of crisis where we have to invest the most. It's been said that your character is not what you do when times are great. It's usually when times are challenging that your true character is revealed. And so I think that now let's realign with our true north. Let's make sure that we're using our time and investing our time more wisely than we ever have, so that we emerge in such a more powerful position that when we came into this crisis.
And Chris, there's an analogy about how a diamond is made, what it looks like before it becomes a diamond. It's not very pretty, but through the compression, it's almost like the caterpillar, that goes through metamorphosis.
Yes.
It comes out into something that's beautiful. And speaking about diamonds, I'd like to make reference to something that's close to something that changes forms. our thinking, as we've often spoke of, we must be careful of what we think, because that's what comes out of our mouth, and that's what we confess, and that's what we give manifest to. So you think, so you are, basically. And I have the habit of praying over my food, and sometimes people may question that. Why do you pray all the time, everywhere, restaurant, it doesn't matter? Because I didn't realize it, but there is a scientific reason that your thoughts do help protect you, whatever it is that's in the food. If there's something that is malignant or whatever, you can transform that and make that safe for you to consume. And there's a Japanese scientist, maybe you can help me remember his name. He did an experiment, and underneath the microscope, he put droplets of water, and you could see the formation change as the person's thoughts changed. If they were thinking happy, positive thoughts, it had crystalline, beautiful formations. And if they were thinking negative thoughts, it changed into ugly brown formations. So, that was all as a result of our thinking. And like you said, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And by the way, the producer of the show, Eric Zuley, has been on stage with the person who is now John Chen, who has taken that book, and he has revisited the book and is going on tour where he has the rights to it some kind of way. He managed to do that, and he's been on tour with it, and Eric was on stage with him at the Anaheim Convention Center, and I think at some point you'll be meeting or talking to Eric. He's what I call a rocket, the shooting rocket. He's done so much to be a shaker, mover, and an influencer. So I think you two are on the same planet or wavelength.
That's fantastic. Yeah, the Japanese scientist, his name was Emoto.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. And yeah, absolutely. Our thoughts are going to, what we think about, we bring about. What we focus on expands. And so I think that also in this incubation period, it's really important that we be managing our thoughts, that we be directing our focus. And, I'm susceptible, just like anybody else, to go down negative paths in thought, especially when we have all sorts of negative information that's coming in, and everybody's attempting to stay on top of things, know what's happening in the world, and so we're reading the news, we're looking at things that are telling us on a daily basis that things are getting worse, and so on and so forth. And the nature of the conscious mind is impression, the nature of the unconscious mind is expression. So whatever we impress ourselves with gets expressed outwardly. So if we're impressing ourselves with negative information and we're waking up every day reading a bunch of negative garbage, then what happens? Then we go into negative emotional states, we go into anxiety, fear, that expresses itself outwardly. We take things out harshly on the people we love. I have no doubt that when people are in isolation like this, if negative stuff's coming in, that you got to believe that there's going to be arguments in the household, there's going to be projection of the intolerable internal world that's created through what we're impressing ourselves with. And so if we want to transform our lives, we have to make sure that what we're impressing ourselves with is positive in nature.
Exactly. And I was listening to a psychiatrist on the radio the other day, and she was discussing how impactful the news is on us. In fact, she basically said, turn it off,
Right.
But the analogy was like going into a theater and seeing a spooky movie, a horror movie. Your body actually does go into a physical reaction. And this is basically the same thing that's happening to people by listening to the negative news. Even though we need information, some of it's overkill, like how many
right.
dead bodies did we have today, and on and on and on. It's very depressing. So we have to be very mindful and to balance ourselves to counteract that. There's another person in Newport Beach. He's a doctor, and he calls these thoughts ANTS, which is an acronym for automatic negative thoughts, and we all get them. You know, we all do. So he says what you do is you overcome these thoughts by counteracting them with maybe 100 words that counteract the one negative thought, you know, so that we can get through that.
Yeah, no, I hear what they're saying. I mean, we have 70,000 thoughts that stream from the unconscious mind to the conscious mind every single day, largely on autopilot. Once again, we impress ourselves with certain things, and then we express it outwardly. So if the stuff that's coming in, the impressions coming in, are negative impressions, then negative has got to pour back out. It's not going to convert itself into the positive. It's going, you know, we have to take conscious charge of what we're impressing ourselves with. And you know, like I said, I just did a Facebook Live the other day where I was talking about the importance of making sure that it's positive information coming in, and I talked about the first thing that we do in the morning, every morning, as setting the tone for the rest of the day. So and even after having done that, I woke up this morning, and my tendency is to reach for the phone and to look for what the news is, especially with, you know, needing to get information and needing to stay up to date. But I had to stop myself this morning and instead ask myself what I was happiest about. And what I was most excited about in my life and what I was most enthusiastic about. And when I stopped myself and I did that, I noticed that it wasn't as easy to come up with answers because so much negative stuff has been coming in. But I had to stay with it, and then I'm like, wow, there are things to be happy about and to be excited about and to be enthusiastic about. And then by the time I made it to the news, I still looked at the news. I was like, wow. This makes a big difference, what you're impressing because I got it in the news, I looked at it, and then it sent me into like this kind of a depressed state again. And so I thought, wow, I need to manage this better. It really, really makes a difference what we're impressing ourselves with. So I think one of the greatest things that we could do right now, and I know it's not easy, but one of the greatest things we could do is to make sure that we're saturating ourselves with the type of stuff that we want to express. Whether that be getting great audio books, whether that means spending more time reading or making sure that we're watching videos or listening to podcasts or radio shows like your own that are going to elevate our consciousness rather than depress our consciousness, because we can only express that which we impress ourselves with.
Yes, and you know, the guest that was just on, Alan, he had some great information about the immune system. Now, I know you've heard me mention the Rose Breast Cancer Society, which is a living memorial for my mom, and it's close to my heart because it's my personal walk. It's my assignment. We've all been given assignments, and that's mine. And I was just thinking about these benefits that we've been talking about. Dr. Darren Clare, who happens to be one of our honorary members, I haven't seen him in a long time, but he was saying that, you know, there are so many different types of viruses that are mutating all the time. And by the time they come up with a vaccine for the virus, it's already changed, and it's become immune to whatever it is we're putting out there. So he basically thinks that the vaccines are worthless in so many words, and that the best thing to do is to build your immune system. That's why I was really happy to hear Dr. Allen talk about that, and even about the mushrooms, because I'm really, really into the mushrooms now. I mean, there's another doctor that says you should have at least a cup of them every week of mushrooms, and dealing with those type of foods that ferment. A lot of people are not aware of these little things. My organization is about providing education for the prevention and intervention of the cancers, or the breast cancer in particular. That's what took my mom out. But, I do believe that prevention is key. And the way we think, what we do, just a simple thing like walking, that's one of the best exercises you can do, is walk. Very simple things that we can do for ourselves.
Yeah, no, I'm listening to you. And all of that, when we think of raising the immune system, what we need to do is essentially raise our vibration. We can do that through proper nutrition, as you're saying, making sure that we're taking vitamins, making sure that we're getting sufficient sleep, sufficient exercise, whatever we can do to reduce the internal turmoil or stress on the body. When we think of stress, I had a student of mine that posted a Facebook post the other day, and he showed an image that was a circular image that showed the effects of stress on the body and the immune system and how it lowers the immune functioning. Well, when we think of what is stress, stress is oftentimes from an emotional perspective, it's an intolerable internal world, whether that be that we're holding on to trapped anger or sadness or fear or guilt or resentment. So all of those things are going to depress immune functioning and suppress the immune system as well. So what we need to do is essentially elevate our vibration, maybe paying attention to what types of thoughts we're taking in, what types of emotional states we're living in, what types of conversations we're having with people, what types of actions are we taking, and make sure that those are all things that are elevating rather than creating more stress within our own internal life, or creating more conflict internally.
Yes, and exactly. And stress just happens to be one of the main contributors to cancer.
For sure.
It is. And listen, Chris, I'm delighted to have you on my segment here on Carmelita's Corner of Radio Boomers Live. I just want to let everybody know that they can find out more about the EZWAY network by going online and looking it up on EZWAY info. We're also broadcast by www.ezwayradio.com, and they can look that up, and we'll eventually get the archive of this show that you're on, and I'm just so very pleased and honored to have you on as a guest today. And I would like for you to give the audience your website and what you're up to. I know you got some plans coming up, and please share those with our listening audience.
Sure. Well, we have, I teach seminars and trainings around the world right now. The event industry is all moving online, so I've got all sorts of online trainings and courses. I've got a certification course in transformational hypnosis online. I've got business-based courses to help people get their money up and running right now from home. So I've got all sorts of things like that, real pragmatic and practical tools that you can use immediately to change your life. And you can find out more about us at chrishoward.com. So that's www.chrishoward.com, and you can see whatever's going on with us right now. You could also go to chrishowardacademy.com and see some of the online courses and stuff that we've got going on right now. So good places to check out, and I'd love to connect with you in the future.
Well, thank you so much, Chris, and I look forward to seeing you again. And again, thanks for coming on as a wonderful guest.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Carmelita. Much
Smartphone, cell phone, PC, Mac, tablet, iPad. That's right. It's tech time.
Well, I was talking earlier about what are we going to do with all this time that we have on our hands, sitting at home, separated socially from all of our peers and friends and family. Well, there's a way we can connect. It's called conference calling. Now, a lot of you I know say, I don't know how to use my phone. I don't know how to use my tablet. A lot of it's very easy, and you can go to YouTube videos, and they will tell you exactly how you can do it. So you can start off by, first of all, finding out whether or not you want to use just a conference call, where it's just hearing voices, or you want to go to a video conferencing, where you can actually see the people that you're talking to. Some of you have probably already been doing it, especially if the grandkids live across the country. You want to see those kids grow up. So you've already been conferencing. But for those of you that are new at this, you can Google. Just go to your Google browser and Google conference calling. And there are all kinds of ways that you can conference call. There are free conference calling, some that are just free no matter what you do. Some are free, but you only get to connect so many people or chat for so long. Some are video conferencing, like I said, where you can actually see the people that you're talking to. So Google conference calls, and it's amazing how many different people have conference calling services. A lot of them are free. The other person just has to have a cell phone or a tablet that they can call on or be called on, and you can have whole conversations. Now, some of you have iPhones, and you've got FaceTime built into your iPhone. You can call on FaceTime. The other person also has to have FaceTime on their phone, but they can get an app on their Android phone to also use FaceTime. You can actually talk and see those loved ones that are also shut in. When you use the FaceTime or any video conference call, make sure that you have all your ducks in a row, so to speak. Have your hair done, have your face made up, make sure that you have on your clothes. I've had people call me on FaceTime, and I've still got on my pajamas and curlers in my head, and you can push a button, and it'll take it just the audio, but you can actually see those that you're calling also. So just because we have to socially distance ourselves in one way, doesn't mean we have to be separated. I remember years ago, my youngest grandson was at a party, and I was chaperoning the party, kind of. And he was on his cell phone. I'm like, you're at a party. What are you doing on your cell phone texting somebody? Who are you texting? And he points across the room at this girl and says, I'm texting her. So the kids have been texting and FaceTiming each other just from across the room. So, baby boomers, we have to get on that bandwagon during this time where we're separated, maybe just even from across the room or from room to room or across the street, but we can't get close to our loved ones. We can use conference calling and have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful conversation with those we love. That's my tech time. Google it. And let's move on to Jim's Gym.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, baby boomers, it's time for Jim from Jim.
And Reatha, that was very interesting. As usual, Reatha has interesting reports. And we just want to thank Alan Attridge with talking about in-depth, interesting and informative about the science of, the immune system and so on. And, this is this interesting and informative or what, guys? I'm really happy, and this is good stuff for you. It's just good stuff to know. Anyway, I'm just taking my time jotting notes down with all this. I was going to do a report today, but I'm going to put the report off because I want to get Eric on and get us up to date on some of the stuff going on. Our EZWAY Wall of Fame is expanding exponentially, and it's just so beneficial to everybody. And I'm just getting calls, and I hear from people that are just ecstatic on being a part of the EZWAY movement and so on and so forth. So our engineer is on in search mode, or we're going to see if we can get Eric on here. Okay, there's a light that went on, so Eric's tuning in here. We have his introduction theme, and this is going to be good because I want to find out all the stuff going on, and I pretty much keep up with it, but I'll tell you, I'm even learning stuff every day. That the network is growing, the radio, television, and so on. Eric, you on with us? The EZWAY Wall of Fame. I want to get more information on this. And the EZWAY...
Yeah, can you hear me?
There you go. EZWAY Cares, and we got so much going on. So, Eric, we have, I was just sharing, the guests today were just, this is amazing stuff with Chris Howard and Alan Attridge. But I want to get a little bit of an update on some of the stuff going on because really can't keep up with you sometimes. And the EZWAY wall is just a wall that's building like crazy. And this it's kind of wall you have to have in the new age. Tell us what's going on.
Yeah, the EZWAY wall is exponentially grown now. We just announced that Frank Shankwist, creator of the Make-A-Wish Foundation, is the new Wall of Fame Star of the Month, which is something new that we're doing with the wall. So everybody that's on the wall, thank you for signing up. Those that get the most reviews, the most interaction, the most shares, the most support, we're now highlighting through our blog system. And our blog system is getting a good amount of traffic. We're up to 92 members now on the wall. And wow. We just added a couple new people, like Kristana Loken, star of Terminator 3, which I'll be interviewing actually for iHeartRadio and my show, The Easy Show. You guys can go to The Easy Show if you want to like that page. I'm going to be interviewing some really big people coming up. And then really the main page I'd like everybody to go like is EZWAY Broadcasting. Just letter E, letter Z, W-A-Y, space, broadcasting. That's where we're going to have all of our broadcasting. Anything to do with broadcasting is going to be on there. And then, Alec Stern, who's the co-founder of Constant Contact, one of the largest CRM email marketing programs ever. He's an amazing entrepreneur and philanthropist, and we met each other on LinkedIn, actually. And so we brought him into the EZWAY family, and he's on the wall now. And then James Dentley and Kara Scott Dentley, who has a very successful business, and they're a good power couple, and we're going to be doing their TV network here pretty soon. And just like really great interviews. So April, put these in your calendars, guys. April 9th, April 16th, and April 23rd, the Thursday of at 7 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thursday, 7 o'clock. That's when I'm going to do my lives. And then we're also getting ready to do a big conference. If you go to EZWAYinfo.com, you'll see where it says RSVP to our next event. We're going to be doing some big digital conferences, all live. And you can RSVP to anything that we're doing, and you'll see that, we're hosting a Facebook Live digital summit on May 29th and 30th. My book is coming out, The Influence Effect. So we'll be doing a big celebration for that, and all the people that's in the chapters. Hey, Denise Molly-Brookhart, I see you, and Celia Abu, and Theodosia, and I see some of my fans, some of my EZWAY family. How you guys doing? I got my touchpad, by the way, now, guys. I'm going to carry my iPad with me everywhere because we got our new app on Apple, on the Apple Store. So you can search EZWAY Network on the Apple Store. You can download our app. And all of our broadcasting, all of our shows, like Megan Fenyo's show, I Am Enough, was broadcasted, the brand new episode this morning, TAP, The Artist Process, and 45 other shows. You got to talk to Denise to know all that. We'll be updating it pretty soon, a whole schedule, a whole calendar, a whole TV guide up on the site pretty soon, and EZWAYinfo.com. In fact, right now, I believe if you go to EZWAYinfo.com and you click on shows, all the shows are there. In fact, this show, which is our every Monday morning at 10 a.m., that's there. And then you got Megan Fenyo's show and The Artist Process, and then we have Jay-Z TV Live with Janet Zipper, and then Sidewalks Entertainment and Mindset Reset and My Easy Talk Live show and Rising Fashion and all the other great shows. We're also going to be announcing a major thing I'll be doing. I'll be kind of I'm being now built as a talk show host, as that guy that you want to interview with, just like Jay Leno, just like Jimmy Kimmel, just like Conan O'Brien. Only I'm kind of like that,
Tony
with
Robbins.
a little bit of the whole Dick Clark. Yeah, a little bit of Tony Robbins too. Just kind of doing my own EZWAY thing, but following in the footsteps of the greats, and so we have these amazing platforms. In fact, now if you go to EZWAYinfo.com, you'll be able to go to shop, and that's being worked on as we speak. You'll be able to go to shop, and then when you click on shop, it'll take you to shopsocialscenes.com, which is our new partner And we're basically building in this whole Amazon kind of platform, and so you can go to Shop Social Scenes and you get all of our products, and now with everything happening, you got to have e-commerce, you got to have the funnels going, you got to have the way to collect the database, you got to have constant streaming and podcasting, and we're teaching a lot of people on how to transition and be prepared, and basically transition from brick and mortar to online, and we're doing a lot of that stuff. But there's a lot of great products on there if you want to go check out that, which is EZWAY.shopsocialscenes.com. It'll be on the EZWAYinfo.com pretty soon. And ultimately, if you want to know everything that's going on, you can just connect, like Denise said, connect with the EZWAY family. Just go to letter E, letter Z, WAYFAM, EZWAYFam.com. But I got to go, Dad. I actually have to grab this call. But thanks so much. And Radio Boomers Live, I love you guys.
Thank you.
Just text EZWAY to 55678. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Thanks for popping on. Reatha, you still on with us? Okay. All right. Reatha had to take off. And, well, guys, remember, you're home. If you are out and you have to get out and about, watch the doorknobs when you go anywhere. Either, use a tissue or a piece of paper. The less germs you get on your hands, the better, because you could easily forget and, rub your eyes, your face. We have a habit of doing that. You don't want to do that. And, maybe avoid the big crowds. And don't panic when it comes to, I'm out of this or that. You talk to the stores, talk to the people, say, when is your delivery? And they have these big trucks show up with a lot of stuff. One lady told me at Target, she goes, when the truck leaves and the mobs come in, all the people come in to buy everything, there's still a lot left at first because they have so much. And just, be safe, be careful, and drink a lot of water. I heard from another specialist, and remember what Alan said. And the liquids, a lot of liquids are good in these times, or they're good all the times. But if you're home, well, like Reatha was saying, take a project, I'm trying to take advantage of that. I might even be tackling my closet. I mean, you have no excuse with all the time home like this. So with that, guys, it's time to wrap up. And so we're going to be signing off here from Radio Boomers Live. So next Monday morning, tune in, 10 o'clock with Reatha and I, and more interesting and informative guests. And just be safe, keep moving, and keep the faith. Radio Boomers Live is out.
Thank you for listening to Radio Boomers Live with your hosts, Reatha Gray, Star Betty White's Off Their Rockers, and EZ's dad, Jim Zuley.